And to truly move on, you're going to fall, you're going to make mistakes. You have to stay focused and keep going.
That's right.
And not dwelling on the past and not dwelling on what just happened last week. You deal with it, face it, and then move on.
Yeah.
And let God handle it.
You can't move on from something unless you have emotionally done it. Mm-hmm. It's one thing to replant physically, but a diseased tree, whether you plant it in this soil or into another, is still a diseased tree.
Hey, I'm Stephanie.
And I'm Asbel.
And we want to welcome you to another episode on A Cup of Real. And today we're going to talk a little bit, probably 20 minutes, about moving on.
Yes, very important.
Have you really moved on? You know, we hear that saying all the time, I moved on. I'm out of that mess. I'm out of that toxic relationship. But yet everything the person says and does is regurgitating everything they've gone through. And I remember one time I said, I'm out of that mess. I'm out of that toxic relationship, but yet I was still toxic.
That's correct. And you think you've moved on, and your actions are saying you haven't. Yeah. And everybody around knows that you haven't moved on.
And they want to tell you. Like, girl, you need to go get some help. You need to face what's this mountain in your life. But I think as I was thinking about this, when we say I moved on, and we really haven't moved on, is because we move out of the place physically, but we're still there emotionally.
Yeah.
Don't you agree?
That's a really good point. That while you may not be physically present in that situation anymore, maybe it was you got out of a horrible, extremely abusive relationship, or you left an area or a church maybe. Or work or corporate, whatever it is, and it has followed you into your next, and because you never addressed the reason why you left.
So it's still in your mind.
So it's still there, and that's a really good point, babe. Because there's probably in the last few weeks that I've been dealing with some things, whether it's been some work related stuff, some things on the religious, some things like that, and been having discussions and been really kind of thinking that it's a process, it's a journey. Because when I've transitioned, I always try to reflect first to figure out, because this is where you give grace to other people, to allow them to work their journey, because I may be a lot farther along
than someone else.
But I used to be where they were. And my past is their present, as we keep talking about. And you can't move on from something unless you have emotionally done it. It's one thing to replant physically.
Right.
But a diseased tree, whether you plant it in this soil or into another, is still a diseased tree.
Right.
Until you treat the roots.
Because like we both have moved out of things physically, and it was affecting us a few years later.
And we talked about that on one of our episodes, how it really came into our marriage in the very beginning. And we had to do some really hard work. Because
it affects your words, your behaviors, the decisions you make, and even how you communicate with people. You can come across really harsh because you haven't dealt with the past. And yes, we have talked about this. But I want to even go deeper, because we talked about forgiveness, I think, a few weeks ago. Forgiveness is a whole other thing. But moving on, you can forgive someone and still remember and still be allowing those things to plague your mind and to kind of, as I call, regurgitate everything that happened to you.
So here's the one thing that, and I think it's important to kind of level set to make sure that those that are listening understand that forgiveness is about us. I don't forget what happens. Only God can forgive and forget. He's the only one that has the ability to do that. As humanity, of which He made us, I may forgive you, but I'm not going to forget. And I usually generally see that piece of it as establishing boundaries to ensure that the harm that someone else did, if I continue to let it happen to me, then shame on me, because God gives us understanding when we seek knowledge. So the understanding might be, you know what, I got to set very firm boundaries. And Dr. Cloud talks about how do you set personal boundaries to stop having people continue to do harm to you. He also wrote another book that we love called Safe Places.
Oh, safe
Amazing.
people.
Safe people. If you will, that book probably is even better than
amazing.
Boundaries, because safe people really dig into, and it's a practical book about how oftentimes, sometimes family around you, they're unsafe. And how do I determine that? And how do you handle that? How do I handle that?
Yeah.
It gives you some practical advice
Right.
on how to do that from someone that understands the faith and the scriptures as well. Right. So to me, moving on, you have to understand, like, I can move on, but some things I don't want to forget.
Yeah. Okay. Going back to that, it just hit me. When we forgive and we move on, God is helping us, but we have to put the work in. We have to put the work in to change how we think about things, how we speak, all of these things. Because I think someone was saying a while back, about deliverance. God delivers us. But if we go back to the same mindset, the same environment, the same pig's pen, we're going to have a hard time staying in that forgiveness state, staying in that pure state.
Well, think about that. I mean, I equate that, since you said the pig pen, to the prodigal father and the prodigal son in the scripture, in the parable in the Bible, that if the prodigal son, when he returned, if he went back to the pig pen the next day, the father would see that his fruit did not show his act of repentance. And that is the issue of what I'm forgiving. If somebody's done me wrong, whether it's work, whether it's politics, whether it's family, it doesn't matter. The fruit will bear from their act of forgiveness or from their act of asking, for I'm sorry. It's the same thing with me. If I do something to you and I say, I'm sorry, but 5 minutes later, I do the same exact thing again, you're not going to believe me.
Kind of like actions speak louder than words.
And we forget about that, because words, we can be sly with our words.
Oh, yes.
We can spin. There's a lot of stuff going on.
You can spin things
we
like
can
nobody's
be gaslit.
business.
We see it all the time. I see it in whatever, and I'm thinking, I don't care what you say to me. I'm like, I don't care what you say to me. I can see things. I'm dealing with this right now, and I'm having a hard time, and I'm not going to disclose. This is something that you and I talk about, but it's not meant for prime time or out there. But there are some things that we want to see the good sometimes so bad in someone, but the actions are all there indicating something totally different. But my want so bad is skewing my thing, and I know what I need to do, and I know I need to erect very firm boundaries around that. And I'm just thinking, please don't let that be true. But my gut knows it's true. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And I'm struggling with that. And I'm struggling with that like this week I've been struggling with that. And so it's a thing that when you pray for wisdom, you seek knowledge, you gain understanding, and God has given understanding. And I'm having a hard time.
Oh, yes.
I'm having a hard time with that understanding.
Well, when someone's behaviors reveal, then you're like, oh, it's not what I thought.
I know.
And it hurts when it's friends, colleagues, even family. It hurts.
It gets deep, but it's moving on. This is where that I've learned, because 10 years ago, 15 years ago, I would have just brushed it like, oh, this is just something about you, but And in order for God to continue to take you higher or whatever, He gives this to you so you'll be able to understand how to navigate around it. I call it the landmines. We talk about this a lot. God just revealed the landmines in front of me. It doesn't mean that I need to address the landmine, but don't let me step on something that is going to inhibit my journey forward. And so when I understand where the landmines are, I can go around them. I can avoid them altogether. I can actually backtrack, but at least I know where they are now.
Well, some landmines you don't need to address.
Absolutely.
You need to literally move around them and keep going, because it's a distraction.
It's a distraction. And many times we get distracted.
Yes.
We get distracted. I mean, you were talking about this morning, and I just thought it was so enlightening about the distraction of the noise. And sometimes we get caught up in it.
Yeah.
And we, if you eat, I loved the story that you said about if you constantly are filling your body with junk, Don't be surprised when you start having certain types of...
I wrote about it.
Yeah, you
That's
wrote
right.
about it. And then you talked about the same thing applies to our mental wellness.
Yes.
If you're constantly looking at social feeds and things that are always strife and conflict, and then you wonder why you're always on edge, what are you feeding your mind?
What are you feeding your mind?
And it was something that you posted on A Cup of Real that I thought was fantastic. I even shared it, like, what are you eating mentally?
What are you eating mentally?
What are you eating mentally? Because that might be why you're reacting and responding the way that you are.
It affects you.
It impacts you.
It really
and
does.
You don't even realize it is.
And then it bleeds over into everything you do and say. I mean, everything.
Jim Rohn says it this way. One bad habit that day isn't what fixes things.
Yeah.
It's not going to, just because you eat a bag of potato chips today is not going to impact you health-wise or anything for one day. It's when you consistently do it.
Right.
Consistency is what either equals success or failure. What you're consistent in. If you're consistent in always eat a bag of chips today, and then tomorrow, and then Friday, and then next eventually you'll start to gain weight. Eventually you'll start to feel bad.
Yeah.
But if you start with one thing and you consistently begin to apply it towards success, in 3 months, something will begin to happen. And we talk about that. It's not today. It's today. I'm going to wake up every morning at 4:00. Even when I don't want to.
Oh, yes.
And I'm going to do something, and I'm going to write, and I'm going to consistently do it. Even when I don't want to. I didn't want to do it this week. I've been traveling. I didn't want to get... I still consistently got up, consistently still wrote, consistently still did my devotion, and I maneuvered through. It's the same thing with working out. Same thing. I want to work out. But what most people do is we just try to do it really quickly, and we're like thinking, oh, well, I can't do an hour today. I missed it. The problem is because your consistency is not aligning with your purpose or with your objective. So if you're just starting, for instance, like praying.
Yes.
You don't say, I'm going to start praying an hour every day when you hadn't been praying at all. Say, I'm going to pray 2 minutes every day.
Right.
And then eventually you continue to expand it.
Because there are days I only have 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And sometimes give 10 minutes. Give it everything you got in that 10 minutes. Sometimes you have 30 minutes. Sometimes you do have an hour. Sometimes you have an hour and a half. It all depends on what's going on that day, that week. So always call it, we can call it baby steps.
Yeah, take
baby steps.
Take one step. Consistently do it every day.
Yeah.
I don't have time every day to read for an hour. But I've got time every day to read for 5 minutes. Yeah. Or to read for 3 minutes if I have time.
Well, and I think if you think you can't do it for an hour, why try?
And I think that's
Same
your
with
mind telling you
exercising.
something.
Yeah.
Stop telling yourself that.
Yeah.
Because before you know it, you begin to develop a very healthy muscle. And this is what is really important. It's the same thing that I see with like social media or whatever. Stop when people like think, my God, the world's falling apart. Well, I can guarantee you I know what you're looking to if you think the world's falling apart. The world is not falling apart.
It feels like it sometimes.
That just makes you people want to see that. There's a lot of discord or whatever because there are other forces at stake here that want you to believe that you are powerless to impact and make change.
Right. And
one person can do that. The scriptures say this. One can put 1,000 to flight. Two can put 10,000 to flight. 3, if we use God's multiplication, it doesn't take a lot of people to begin to unify to make enormous impact. So if you think all hope is lost, what book are you reading? What social media are you scrolling? What voices are you listening to? What podcast are you listening to if you think there is no hope?
Right.
There is hope, and we know that it is in the one who embodies hope.
That's right.
That is what we need to be paying attention to.
That's right. Amen.
You know what I'm saying? So my standpoint is as we talk through this piece of it, you've really got to let go. Are you looking through your lens because you've not addressed what your past has dictated to you? I know, we both know from example, babe, we have been through a bunch. We talk about it on our podcast.
Yeah, we talked about it. Yeah.
But we can either live there
or we can
face it,
address
and
it,
thrive next.
And move on.
Move on.
Yeah. Well, I think it's Isaiah 43:18 says, do not remember the former things. Do not dwell on the past, for I am doing a new thing.
I'm doing a new
thing. And then it says, there's somewhere in there where it says, do you not perceive it? There's a question mark. So sometimes we can't perceive what God's doing because we are so focused.
We're so focused on our past.
Yeah. So focused on what happened to us.
Can you focus on the new? That's why he says you can't put new wine into old wineskins.
Right. Right.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so this is what you've got to start talking. It doesn't mean you get rid of it. You need to understand it. We need to respect the past, respect what happened, but understand the new thing that God is doing right now.
Right now.
And are we ready for it?
Are we ready for it?
And this is what we've been doing. We've been preparing. God, we want to be ready.
It's been a long...
And it has been a long journey.
I was thinking about this the other day. It's been a long time to get to where we are right now. And I feel like now things are starting to thrive. But it's been a lot of hardships, a lot of struggle, a lot of challenges, a lot. I mean, we could go on. We could do an episode on that.
I always know when the pressure is happening, when I'm feeling pressure.
Mm-hmm.
I was telling this to someone the other day at dinner, this week actually, that remember, gold is not purified.
No.
Unless it's under the fire.
Yeah.
But we talk about these analogies all the time.
Same with diamonds. My mom used to talk about
the diamonds.
Yeah.
That in order to create that, there's extreme pressure. And we've heard these analogies, but when we start going through it, we forget the analogy.
Yeah, we do.
Okay, something's happened. I have to sometimes remind myself, I actually wrote it out as I'm feeling the pressure of certain things.
But we don't care.
God, you are making something new out of this.
Yeah.
There is something in this process, the pressure, the learning, the understanding. It's going to make us better. It's going to make us for who we are, for what we are to do, to pursue the purpose. Because always remember, pursue what is right.
Pursue what is right, regardless.
Pursue is right, what is good. Talk about this someone else. When you pursue what is right, you can never go wrong. Right. Even when you're going to the pressure, I always reflect and say, are you doing the right thing?
Are you doing the right thing?
You're not going to be perfect at it, son. But are you doing the right thing? Is your purpose for the right thing? And
are you doing it with excellence, not perfection?
That is correct.
Because
I have to remind all the time.
Because both of us can thrive on perfection if we're not careful.
Absolutely.
And really, it needs to be more about excellence than perfection.
Are we pursuing excellence? That's what I generally say. I tell this to my team all the time. Remember, guys, reset. Let's go back to the data. Let's go back and look. Is our expectation to be perfect? Or is our expectation to be excellent? Yeah. So you establish very, very, very key performance indicators. So let's go back to our key performance indicators. Where are we? So we start to unpack it. Does that make sense? So it's really, really hard. There's things that make us good. And then we look back and we're like thinking, we made a mistake here. We own our mistakes. You never deflect. You never look to blame. Just own it. It's okay. Yeah. That's how we learn. Yeah. That's where excellence comes in. And we should be doing that not just in work, but in every aspect of our life. That's right. If you make a mistake and you fail, did you own it or did you try to point the finger and say, well, if she would have talked to me that way, I wouldn't have snapped? Yeah. That's very easy to do. No. It doesn't matter how she talked to you. Was your reaction or your response appropriate? Because
really, if we're all truthful, we can only control what we say and do. I can't control you. You can't control me.
I woke up this morning because it's been a long travel week. Been traveling a lot.
You've been gone all week.
I haven't been sleeping a lot either because you've been up entertaining. I've been back up again.
Yeah, he got in last night, like around 10:30, 11-ish.
Yeah. And then we got some things. It's going to be very, very busy for the next several weeks. And I just remember saying, rest. Take the time to rest because when you get tired, we react and respond differently.
And you can make bad choices.
You can make bad choices when you're under. Can I grace? Can I have grace when distractions happen? Do I feed into the distraction or to remember? Because when you're tired, you generally respond differently than when you're in a fresh state of mind and being. Right. So it's really important to recognize and think through those things. That's where I know the journey's been good for me that I've been learning on because I'm recognizing that I might be getting to a point. So it's like I write it out.
And you can also get into a stage of where you just, I don't want to say thrive, but you kind of thrive on being busy all the time.
Yeah.
So it's hard to step out of that.
Well, it's hard to reflect.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
When you're busy.
Yeah.
And
when you're too busy to reflect.
Yeah. And we justify the busyness because, there's a lot going on right now. And that's what
I have to do this.
Yes. And there are certain things that I don't. And it's very important for us to spend time. We're doing that today.
Today we're going to drive together.
And tomorrow.
Have a few hours. Yeah.
And so it's really, really, really important in both of our seasons that we're in right now that the busyness of the season, I mean, you're releasing another book. You've got a lot of stuff happening in your ministry that's going on. We both are. Yeah. But it's really important for us to be intentional about our time.
Yeah.
and spending time for both you and I
So
through the process.
So do I need to contact Susanna, your executive assistant, to schedule you in?
She's being facetious,
Making a dig.
but it really is. She does it, and I'm like, just because my calendar gets really busy, and I'm like,
I'm texting Susanna all the time,
babe,
his executive assistant.
I
She's amazing to figure out what's going on here, because she has his calendar. She's amazing.
And we can't figure out how my calendar shared with you.
We
own a technology company, so me and my business partner own a technology company.
Maybe someone can help us out here.
But I told Wesley, I said, Wesley, I need you to figure out both of our stuff to figure out, because I know there's a way to do it, so you don't have to be calling Susanna and like thinking, I don't have time to figure this out. I want the new phone. You can sync it with mine? I have the old phone. Yeah, because you can, it can all be synced and stuff.
But the only thing is, what if that overwhelms me seeing everything?
Oh, I know.
Because then I have my own stuff.
At one time, I had Brian looking at it. Brian said, I shut that thing off. I couldn't figure it out. Or whatever. That's why I just said.
I'm thinking I'm going to stick with Susanna.
Yeah.
She's softer with it all. I think I'm going to stick with her.
Yeah, because sometimes when I get involved in it, I'll commit to something thinking, she's like, what did you do? You cannot do that. I have been working with 3 other people, and those times are taken right now. Yeah. And I'm like, that's why I don't get involved. Generally, I just send people like, can you please check with Susanna? Because she may already be looking at the different things that go through the process. But the issue is, as we're talking through this process, is you have to be intentional.
You have to be intentional.
And intention will save you from a lot of reactions where you should be responding.
Right.
And so because we've been there before and we may have physically moved places, if you didn't fix where you physically, from what your issue that you physically, you just brought it back with you.
You just brought it back.
And we've learned that now, that like we're moving physical locations doesn't solve anything.
Oh, not at all.
You just bring it with you. It just exacerbates the issue.
Oh, like I moved all the way from California to D.C. It didn't fix anything. Now, I was on a high for a while. I had a blast for a while, but it eventually started rearing its ugly head. And that was with us. We talked about it.
We know that now. Yeah. Like when we're in a sense of like
we know
unrest, we don't move, that we stay.
Yeah.
You stay, you do not move.
When you feel restless, fidgety,
when major events
you're not feeling fulfilled, something's going on, don't make a decision.
Major decisions that people make with major life changes, death in families, certain things like that, all of a sudden they make a major purchase. They make something like that.
Yeah.
It's a symptom they're trying to cover something up.
Yeah.
Because generally you're trying to find something to replace whatever it is. And there's nothing that you can ever buy that is going to ever replace a hole that might happen in your heart because of a death, a career change, something like that. I would reflect in the moment and figure out, what do I got to learn? Do the hard work in that moment.
Do the hard work in that moment and sit still in your thoughts.
There are so many things we could have avoided. 15, 20, when we first got married, babe, had we had someone that was authentically talking. And we could have listened.
But the biggest problem was we were both stubborn.
I know.
And we did not want to be told what to do.
I know.
I didn't want you telling me what to do. And you didn't want me to tell you what to do. That was probably our biggest problem. And the enemy knew it. And the enemy was using it against us. And boy, did he use it for years.
And he did. That's important to note. So if something we're saying today is reflecting with where you are right now, maybe this is your present. You are not alone.
You're not alone.
We all still deal with it. We might be farther along the journey. We still deal with it. I dealt with it this week.
We can go back to it if we're not careful.
Absolutely. I dealt with it this week with a lot of things going on where I had to set, reflect. I now have resources. I know what tools to start using. So when that happens, I start writing. I start putting it out, and then I'll go back and reflect and think, man, Aspel, your mind was somewhere this morning, wasn't it? And it's because I had been up entertaining. I got whatever. And so it was just, and then I've got a few wise people to talk to say, I just want to run this past you. And they will use my own words for me. I was talking to a colleague earlier, and she said, let me tell you what you told me 8 weeks ago.
Oh.
And she said, I'm going to use your exact words. And I said, you know what? It's exactly what I needed to hear. Thank you.
And back to your lifestyle, it's busy, busy, busy. This is why you need that.
Yeah.
Because if you make a decision where you are right now, when you're constantly going, it can be a wrong decision. You can say the wrong thing.
Yeah, and it takes you on a detour.
Takes you on a detour.
Where God's trying to tell you that's not where I'm taking you.
And truly move on. You're going to fall. You're going to make mistakes. You have to stay focused and keep going.
That's right.
And not dwelling on the past and not dwelling on what just happened last week.
That's right.
You deal with it, face it, and then move on.
Yep.
And let God handle it.
And I think it's important, too, because that's what we're talking about. Some people move physical. They've not dealt with whatever the issues are. They didn't deal with the loss of the career. They didn't deal with the loss of the marriage. They didn't deal with the loss of a family member. They didn't deal with the chaos or whatever it was. And they just thought moving physical locations would take me away from it and I could forget it.
Yeah.
And then it comes up in conversation.
It comes up in conversation.
It comes up at the dinner table with someone. It comes up with a friend. It comes up with, and you start talking about that thing, that idea, that person.
And it, like I said earlier, it's literally bleeding over into everything you touch. Everything you touch. And we both have been there. And if we're not careful, we can go back to it in a different way, of course. Yep. But we can be affected because you're going to go through things. We dealt with what happened 16 years ago, but we're going to deal with other things. Yeah. You know what I mean?
I know the one thing that is, and this is a thing that I have, I've talked about it a lot, but it's one thing that I am literally leaning into and holding myself accountable and others to it. Mm-hmm. That I am not getting in moments. I'm not getting over dinner. I'm not getting in where people are the discussion.
Yeah,
I'm done.
Great.
Eleanor Roosevelt says it this way very quickly, and it says this way because we talk about it a lot. But great minds discuss ideas. Yeah. Average minds discuss events, and small minds discuss people. And so when you're starting to discuss people and what have you, technically, really, you've limited yourself in understanding the different thoughts and ideas and things that you can do. So this doesn't just apply in the work environment. This applies in the familial environment. It applies in the spiritual environment. Start talking about the what ifs that God can do for you.
Yeah.
And what he can do, because he never concentrated on focusing on people. It was, I came here to help the oppressed, the poor, those. What can we do? I was talking about this with someone else. It's like our parents taught us, both you and I, we are going to do what we can to help solve the homelessness, to help people that need food, that are oppressed, that don't have a voice, the widows, the single adults. What is it that we can do? We may not be able to help everybody, but if we use God's mathematics, if one or two or three of us get together to solve, we can do some stuff exponentially well. I'm not waiting on the government. I'm not waiting on another nonprofit to do it. I'm not waiting on anyone else. If is there something that Stephanie and I can do?
That's right.
And we're going to do what we can do and benefit others. Those are the types of things that you should be discussing because you'll move from where you are in your reality right now. The moment you start looking on how can I help others, it starts healing you inside.
Well, and the one thing I've learned is if you wait on somebody else, if you wait on others to get it going, you might be waiting a long time.
That's right.
So sometimes you just have to, if God's giving you that passion, that burden,
go for it.
Go for it. And it takes time to get there.
And what happens is God will start bringing people into your lives that have that same passion. And they oftentimes look a lot different than people that you would have ever imagined would come in and do it.
God has brought a few people into my life to help me with this nonprofit.
Yes.
And it's getting ready to, I'm just so excited. But it's taken on.
And it wasn't individuals that you would have ever thought. Literally, they just
connected with people along the way.
It's amazing. Yeah. It's really amazing.
I'm very, very excited.
Yeah.
Very, very excited.
Well, what a great topic.
Yeah.
You know, a great topic to leave you with hope. So if you're in your present right now and you're thinking, I've moved, I've done this, but I haven't done the work of digging internally.
Yes.
Do the work. And it's going to be hard.
It's hard.
It's hard work, and there's going to be times you don't want to do it, but lean into it because 5 years from now, you're going to look back and think, man, I wish we would have done this earlier.
Right.
Wish we would have put the time to do it in earlier.
Amen.
Well, thank you for joining us here on A Cup of Real.
Thank you, everyone.
Have a good one.
Have a good day.